Okay. Hi, Darlington Society people. This video is in response to trying to be real and honest, and not putting on the facade of being cool, which is something we all tend to do, just because pretending is so much more fun than the mundane reality, as Mike Dellosso said. I like the Facebook land thing. That was funny. I just started laughing. I actually wrote up an outline of what I was going to say, because I didn't actually really know what I wanted to say, but I knew I wanted to say something as a way of getting to know everybody, or rather, you guys getting to know me, because, I don't know, just because I want to, and I'm really nervous about this, so I know you guys, some of you guys are scared of doing a Skype thing, and I'm just scared of doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because whenever Carrie gets an idea in her head, by golly, she's going to do it. So, where to begin? I was thinking about telling you a little bit about my testimony with God. I grew up in the church, mostly Bible churches, Baptist, non-dom stuff, pretty sort of medium line Protestant, nothing too extreme. And got into college, and like, Pat Russell's daughter, kind of went off and did my own thing, and not very proud of it, but regardless, God came and rescued me, and here I am today, still alive, amazingly enough. I remember when I was sitting in church with my mom one day, and I was considered her a very spiritual person, in a Christian way, Christian spirituality. And I remember during the worship service, she had her hands out and she's had her eyes closed, and she's singing and worshiping God, and I was thinking to myself, as a 4th grader or 5th grader, yeah, you know what, I want to be spiritual, because that's cool, but at the same time, I think I'll wait till I'm in my 40s like my mom, because I want to do my own thing now. And that was an actual thought that was going through my head as a kid. Like, not only did I realize the severity and the importance of the meaning and the cost of going on with God, but I also simultaneously rejected the idea. Goodness knows why. No, I know why. Because I'm a selfish human being. That's why. And I remember years later, a friend of mine told me about a girl he knew who said the same thing in her late teens, and the very next day got in a car crash and died. And I'm thinking, so why is it that God didn't allow that to happen to me, but He actually allowed me to have a relationship with Him, regardless of my own selfishness? Boggles my mind. I'm sure you all feel the same way too. Anyway, I had kind of a strange happenings after that. So I was baptized when I was in 6 or 7 years old. I asked Jesus into my heart, the whole thing, when I was 6 or 7 on my mom's birthday. I didn't know it was her birthday at the time. She was I think 43 for a good 10 years, and all of a sudden she's 50. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, and then I was born again in November of 2006, after repenting and having a life change and being filled with the Holy Spirit. And ever since then, my whole life was completely changed. Like the whole kingdom of darkness and kingdom of light when switched around, and it was just amazing. And I've been obsessed with light and darkness and those contrasts, good and evil, light and darkness, love and hate, ever since. Which is why I think I was originally drawn to Ted Dekker novels and ultimately Mike's stories, because they draw on that, especially Darlington Woods. I really like it. I mean, that's not the only reason I like it, but that's one of the reasons. So, Sadie. Yeah, you're like, what, 30 minutes away from where I am? I should just drive down there and bother you right now. But I won't. You're probably not even there right now anyway. Sadie actually goes to the college that my sister-in-law and brother-in-law graduated from. I'm like, oh yeah, I've walked around on that campus. It's really beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go to Point Lookout, Missouri, which the city, the college is the city. Like, they have their own city named after their college. And you don't have to, like, pay to go there. You just work on campus. It's a pretty radical idea. I almost went to school there, but I ended up not going to school there. I forgot why, but I think because of the programs I wanted to study they didn't really have there. So they probably would have had something I could have made money in, as opposed to what I did study, which is fiction writing, which I love and I got really good at, but now can't make any money off of it, and I'm just a poor waitress. Anyway, of course I don't know how to do professional writing. I mean, I could write better than some, but yeah. Anyway, my mom and my brother get on my butt about that all the time. You should finish school. You should do this. You should do that. You need to get a career. And I'm like, oh gosh, I know, but I'm a failure. So what am I supposed to do? Hindsight. Oh, yeah. Gotta love it. Too bad most of us don't have foresight. It'd be really helpful, right? Okay, anyway, Sadie, back to you. Yeah, what you wrote up on TDS the other day hit home for me. One of those iron sharpens iron moments. Yeah, because ever since I got out of this cult I was in for a while. Yes, unfortunately I was in a cult for a while, and suckered into it for a couple of years, and I'm out of it over a year and a half now, but it's really taken its toll mentally, psychologically, and most especially spiritually. But ever since then I've sort of been grappling with a lot of different things, and I'm like, man, I drink on occasion, though I don't really go out and party. It's not that I don't really, I mean I don't, period. I just will drink by myself at home, like not even with my husband. Like, I don't even, who does that? What does that even matter? What idiot would do that? Me? And I cuss now. I cuss all the time. I don't know what my freaking problem is. And I'm not cussing now because I'm being careful. I don't want you guys to think, oh, well, Carrie's a nice person. She wouldn't do that. Actually, I don't really know what you guys think of me, but I hope it's something positive. So yeah, I'm very thankful that you said that, even though you weren't saying that for me, Sadie, but at the same time, I just appreciate it. It humbled me, and I'm going to try to work on that. Surrendering everything to God is really the only way I can figure out how to deal with anything. I just spent about an hour and a half sitting under a tree in Phelps Grove Park, which is a real park that I go to all the time, and trying to surrender the fears that I've been dealing with that I wouldn't have even known were fears if I hadn't have read Darlington Woods. Thank you, Darlington Woods! And, yeah, anyway, lifelong struggle, right? Daily turning over. Yeah. Maybe I'll get into that in a segment. So, that's some other things I wanted to say to some people. Terry Conrad, you are so adorable. Oh man. I just love you to death. I don't know why, but I just feel tickled every time I think of you. And Kathy, every time I see any of your profile pics, I really do want to go hug somebody. And I am really thankful that you're. It was your son, right, that came home from the army, and that's really cool. I think it was your son. I'm pretty sure. I had to go double check, but I'm too lazy to boot up my computer. Pat Russell. Remember, I wrote this down, so I'm just going to read it to you because I don't know how else I'd say it. Remember that God is carrying you through those hard times, and it will be worth the pain for all the wealth of spiritual growth you and your daughter will receive when you come through the other side, and you will come through. You have to believe that. That's what I tell myself anyway. What's that that stupid movie, Mortal Kombat? Not even Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 2, right? And Raiden, who's like a god in the movie, it's just awful. It's the stupidest movie. I do not recommend it. But everyone's sort of doing badly on the good guy side, and Raiden shows up, and he's like, "Never give up hope, at least not so early in the fight." And that always cheers me up. I don't know. Anyway, Ian Chan, I just wanted to say, so far my favorite part in Angel Guard is when Jack's sitting on his couch and he's really depressed, and God comes and speaks to his heart, and he's like, "Do you blame me for their death?" And then he's like, comes to the realization that he really does, and he's like, "Yes, I do." And then how God deals with him regardless of that, and the grace that he offers him regardless of that. And I just thought that was really cool, really powerful, and I really me like. Anyway, I just I don't know. Just every once in a while you'll read something like that, and it'll just have sort of a spiritual power behind it. Christian spiritual power. I keep saying that because sometimes I talk about spiritual, or the Spirit, and I mean the Holy Spirit, and Christianity spirituality, not just spiritual mysticism or something creepy like that. So please don't get any weird ideas. Oh yeah, and Pete, the whole Ian Chan thing, right? So, this is how you do it, alright? Love and peace. Ian Chan! Okay, that's how it is. You gotta think cutesy little anime chibi form characters. And if you could picture me as an animated character doing it, it'd be better because it's too disturbing in real life, of course. But love and peace, Ian! But that is seriously how I think of it when I think of the name Ian Chan. I go, "Oh, Ian Chan's book's coming in the mail, yay!" Okay, so that was totally retarded, but I don't know. Every once in a while, I just come up with something stupid and I can't get it out of my head. Anyway, you know what? I was gonna write out everyone's name and say hi, Amy, hi, JoJo, Bird, Sweetest. I don't even know what all that means. Hi, Kathleen Smith. Hi, T.W. Johnson. We don't know what the W stands for, but the T apparently stands for Tim. And yes, Melfaxis, he does kind of have an esque of Mr. Dark, who's just an awesome bad guy. John Kowalski, which I'm probably saying your name wrong. I realize that. I can't remember exactly how it's spelled, but that's okay. How you doing? I hope college classes are still going good. Oh yeah, that's right. It's the weekend, so you're having fun not reading your 300 pages a night. Let me know how that works out for you. Oh yeah, and let me know what Shakespeare stories, plays you're reading. I'd just be curious to know. I think I've read Macbeth about 50,000 freaking times. Oh yeah, and the Urban Cowboy. Hopefully you had a night without waking up screaming again. And apparently you like the movie Airplane, which I've seen about 1,000,000 times. So when I saw it, it was edited on TV, and one day my friend went and bought the movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a terrible movie. It has like all this horrible innuendo and this nasty stuff in it, and I was really let down. That happened to me for lots of movies. I'd watch it on TV and it'd be really good, and then you'd rent it or buy it, and they'd have a whole bunch of stuff edited out, and it was just like, ugh. Kind of like how radio edits for songs are sometimes better than the original. Who knows? Anyway, there's another thought that I was thinking about, and this was thinking about our relationship with God when we us in relation to God. There's different ways in which in Scripture they refer to our relationship with God. One way, of course, is by the Maker and the creation. Then there's the Father and Son or daughter, child of God. There's there's blank. Okay, yeah. Then there's a level of brother, like we're Christ's brother. I mean, we're not really his brother, but you know what I mean. The sort of comrade in arms, and then the whole bridegroom and bride. And I was thinking about it because when you're like, we are all, everyone in the world, Christian or non, they're all children of God. They're all the creation of God. They're all children of God. And when you decide to take that step and move forward, become born again, and go on with the Lord, you become a son and a daughter, so that growing up in maturity, and at some point, whether you realize it or not, you become not just corporately as the church is the bride of Christ, but also on an individual level. The difference between being a son, or in my case a daughter of God, and being the bride of Christ is, like, you can't choose your children, right? You can choose not to have children, but you can't choose specifically which children you have. And you think, well, everyone's a child, right? We're all sons and daughters. We're just part of the herd. Whereas when you take it on the level, I think the reason why he uses the symbolism spiritually, when you take it to the level of bride and bridegroom, the difference between the relationship of a son and a parent and a bride and a groom is that you are chosen, is that God came down, or God saying, you, I choose you. And there's so much wrapped into those three words, I chose you. And it just blows my mind. And so when I go around and I see people walking, I see like attractive men and women, ugly men and women, weird, crazy men and women, myself. When you put them into the perspective of men as a male figure represent Jesus Christ, and women as a female figure represent the church, the beauty of that, you see people on a level that you would never have thought to see them before. You respect them on a level that you can't even really put your finger on or wrap your mind around, but it's just, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to say because I'm still sorting out all these thoughts. Um, but yeah, that's just the craziness that's been going through my mind these last few days. So I hope this hasn't been boring. I hope that the audio is actually good. And I actually didn't turn on my AC because I thought it might dampen the sound. And but it's so hot. Oh my gosh. I was out of that park and I'm like, oh, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna like pass out. But I got my sody here. Yeah, John Urban. No, I don't call it pop anymore. I call it soda. It'll be soda for me now. Oh my gosh, cream soda is the best thing since sliced bread. I swear. But no, I don't really want to swear. Knock on wood. Yeah. Anyway, now I'm just rambling. I don't really have anything else to say. Except oh no, I did have something else to say, didn't I? Yeah, I was going to talk about the Facebook thing that Mike put up. Yeah, as I say, Mike, I was actually kind of glad that you brought that up, the whole, like, spending way too much time on Facebook and the whole selfies. I was like, oh yeah, what do you mean? I was like laughing at myself thinking, wow, who am I kidding? At the same time, I really don't mind. It used to bother me more when people would step on toes and stuff like that, but you know what? I find that if you can stride with it, it's my own darn fault for, like, praying. Like, I'll pray, God, I pray for humility. Well, how is he going to do that? By humbling. Or, no, I pray to be humble. And how does he do that? By humiliating you, right? Not in a really bad way, you know, but there's still, like, you know, cut down in your pride. But yeah, I mean, I really feel like we're all sort of pretenders on some level, which we are. I mean, we have to deal with ourselves on a daily basis, and half the time we're trying to not deal with ourselves and just focus on other things or make up, you know, our own realities, our own fantasies, or whatever we want to call it. Facebook land. Now I've totally lost my point in this thing. Oh yeah, I wrote down here, gosh, that's probably what I'm doing with this video, huh? Yeah, most likely. Oh well. I hope I'm not coming off as pathetic, because that's really not what I'm trying to do. I really just wanted to share some thoughts and say hi and really just try to be real with everybody, because, you know, nobody's really better than anyone else. We're all on the same level playing field, right? But I love you all a lot. I'm so thankful for the Darlington Society, which sounds really hokey saying that, but sadly enough, it is kind of a large part of my world right now, which I don't know if that is pathetic or cool. I like to think it's cool, because I really like you guys, and I think